Good morning, it's good to see you. I'm down at the beachside suburb of Cottesloe, standing in front of the Cottesloe Pavilion, or what they call the Indiana Tea House. It was erected in 1996 in a neo something design. I'm reminded of a movie line. What's the line? I'm not sure about the aroma, but I like the smell. I don't know what you call it, but I like to look at it. Got a pretty interesting day today. Got a back update on what I'm doing and what this has made me think about in the future. What happens if I lose everything, the ability to move, and I'm stuck without travel in my life. Got a Q&A as well. Gonna head into the city and get out of the wind. It's blowing a gale. It really is a howling gale out there on the beach, and I've ducked the other side, I think the boaties would call it the leeward side of the pavilion. And this lady, whose name is Sharon, been very generous to give me 5 minutes of her time. She's a busy lady, so I better get moving. Sharon, what brings you to Cottesloe today?
To visit my friends from overseas.
Oh, I see. And whereabouts are your friends from?
Germany.
Germany. Did you meet them here or over there?
No, here.
Here. Can I ask how that happened?
Through relatives and friends, yeah.
Oh, I see. Sharon, can I be really intrusive and ask a couple of personal questions? Still working? Still a career woman, or
Yes.
retired?
No, career.
Yeah, what industry?
Or trade industry.
The trade industry.
Just leave it at that, yeah.
Okay, let's just leave it at that. Is Cottesloe somewhere you often come?
Only when they're only once a year from Germany.
Sharon, what's the meaning to life? What makes you happy?
Living simply and being grateful and not working too hard and being positive.
Excellent. I subscribe to all of those myself. Where do you see yourself? How would you like to see the rest of your life play out, Sharon?
Be at the beach nearly every day of the year and eat good food and enjoy family and friends.
What's your favourite breakfast?
Homemade muesli with banana, blueberries and yogurt on top.
What can't you eat, Sharon?
And mango.
Not sure.
You do love your food.
Yes.
A couple of last questions. You've been very generous with your time, Sharon. Married, family?
Married.
Married. Chose not to have children?
Got children.
Right. I think Sharon's got things to do. Sharon, thanks so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it. You've been really generous.
Day.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'll just give you a view of the back side of the pavilion. It's just really blowing a gale out there. It's really, really nice down here. It's a lovely day to spend. Do great tea and scones, I think, in there, if I remember correctly. I'm walking back to the train to go into the city, and it's about a kilometre, just over a kilometre, and it's up a hill. So sort of testing the back a little bit to go on an incline. The back thing is in limbo. Pardon the pun. My mobility is not too bad, a little bit uncomfortable, not too bad, but I can't sit more than 10 or 15 minutes before it becomes quite unbearable. So the plane trip is the concern, and I don't know whether to combat that with a quick flight into Bali, take the train across Java, a quick flight out of Jakarta to KL, and then hopefully by the time I get to KL it's repaired itself for the 4.5 hours or whatever it is into Chennai. I'm undecided. For those who don't know, Cottesloe is quite an affluent suburb right on the water, and its affluence is reflected in some of the homes here. Well, a lot of the homes here. They're quite splendid. But the other thing I like about this suburb is the age. These huge conifers or pine trees that line the streets here. Just look at these. So much more interesting and warm and substantive than outer suburb living. Obviously it'll be a lot cooler here as well, but it's just actually very nice to walk around the streets of Cottesloe and look at some of these houses. Right, on to a pretty important subject for me. This back issue has raised another question. What happens if I lose my mobility? What happens if I can't travel anymore and I'm stuck in one place? What does that transition look like, and how scary is it really? Let's get the train into the city. And just like that, through the magic of cinema, we're in Perth City. I don't like to apply labels where people are concerned. I think we're all lots of many different things. But I find it hard to avoid putting a label on myself when I consider my own identity. I've always been a traveller, I've always wanted to be a traveller, always will be a traveller. It raises a question for me with the recent issues with my back. What would happen if I was so incapacitated that I was unable to travel anymore? what would that transition be like? How would I handle it? And it scares me a little bit, to be honest. You often hear of people who have had a career in one form or another, and they come to retirement, they don't know what to do with themselves. They've identified with what they've done over the course of their work, that now they're left with all this time, and it's a drastic change for them to move on. For me, if I was unable to travel, I'm not sure how I would respond. I would imagine it would be quite devastating to begin with. I would lose everything that I saw myself as. I would lose the fun and joy in life that I have. You've heard me say it before, I think we're all just big kids having to deal with aging bodies, and I still subscribe to that. So for me to lose the capacity and the freedom to roam and meet people and engage and be happy, to lose that one thing in life that brings me the biggest joy would be quite devastating. Of course. Hello, how are you going today? Thank you. I'm sure I'd struggle through it. I like to think I'm quite resilient. You know, life hasn't been an endless boulevard of green lights for me, and I've had my problems and my issues. But I don't think the travel aspect of my character or nature or what I want to do would be removed. I'd have to stay in touch with it somehow. I might find myself writing finally those stories and the tales that I've kept to myself a bit over the years, waiting for that opportunity to write them. All right, thanks, Star. Have a good day. Good luck.
Bye.
Star has been playing in Perth on the streets, busking for, I don't know, 10 years. The older subscribers will remember I did a little bit of an interview with Star some time ago. I actually have become very, very good friends with Star, and that occurred or happened towards the end of COVID. I was coming into Perth every day, walking the streets trying to improve my photography, and like most things, if you spend a lot of time in a place, you get to know the people, and particularly the people on the streets in Perth, and got talking with her, and I asked if it was possible or if she'd be interested in me taking some portrait photos of her with a guitar and, you know, helping me improve my photography and also giving her some shots that she might be able to use. Not that they were that great. I'll put up some photos now of how that transpired and what came out of it. Apart from the quality of the photography not being that great, we just had a really good time doing it. I guess you'd say Star became my muse, if you will. And what's happened since then is we've just kept this really, really strong friendship, and every time I come back to Perth, the second day I'm here, we have lunch together at the same place and have been doing it for years now. It's become a bit of a tradition or a routine for me, and yeah, really, really enjoy it.
From Germany.
Thank you so much, Ringo Django.
Wait,
I just approached a man in a park to ask if I could pan from him playing with his dog, and then just on the spur of the moment said, can I have a chat to you? This is Ringo Django from Germany.
hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. You've got a dog, so you've been here for a while.
Oh no, it's actually not my dog. It's my barber's dog, and I've taken him for a walk sometimes.
He's a very fast dog.
He's an Australian sheepdog, as far as I know.
How long have you been in Australia?
So this is my second year right now.
Uh-huh.
I've been here for 1 year and 9 months now, working here in Perth as well.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, and I'm trying to immigrate currently.
You enjoyed that much?
It's fucking great.
What is it about Australian culture, Australian life that resonates with you?
So I like the FIFO work cell that I'm currently on.
Uh-huh.
So I'm doing a shutdown work for an engineering company.
I see. Yeah.
So I just came back yesterday from my job, actually. Now enjoying my time off in the city.
And how do you do that? What's your most favourite thing to do with time off in Perth?
Oh, so I like going for little walks with the dog. I've got great friends who I live with. We share a house and we go to the beach a lot. Yesterday was Australia Day. We drank a little bit on the beach. There's great hikes around Australia as well, like around Perth.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also really good road trips. I've currently did one like 3 weeks ago down to Esperance, Albany, and back up the coast.
Wow, that's a nice loop.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask?
Thank you.
Have you found romance in Australia, Ringo Django? Have I got the name right?
I've got a girlfriend back in Germany, actually.
Oh, so it's been 1 year and 9 months without
Oh no,
seen
no,
her?
I've been back in the meanwhile for a bit, and she came over to visit me like 1.5 months ago for 3 weeks, which
Yes.
was really nice. That's where we did the road trip.
Sure, sure.
And yeah.
Can you explain some of the difficulties in having long distance relationships?
Oh yeah. So for me, like physical touch is a big one, I think. So it's
Yeah.
really hard to not have like cuddles and kisses, if
That
you know what I
intimacy,
mean.
physical intimacy,
Yeah, physical intimacy. But over time you learn how to manage it better, I think.
What's the longest period you've been apart?
That was 6 months,
Well, that's a long time.
which was really hard. But after those 6 months, I took 5 weeks off work and we did Thailand together
Oh, wonderful.
for 5 weeks, which was amazing.
Have you been to Thailand before?
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah,
I
okay,
reckon.
yeah.
Thailand is fucking awesome. It's so easy to access from Australia. as well.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people I know and myself have spent a lot of time in Thailand, and it's just so easy. You don't have to think.
Such a wonderful place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so
Fucking great
diverse.
food,
Yeah.
nice beaches. You can go for like little scooter adventures as well.
Ringo Django, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose? What are we here for? What do we need to get out of life?
For me, it's a big one to get out of my comfort zone. That's why I'm here, I reckon. Like not getting stuck in my 9 to 5 back in Germany. Like
Sure.
I stopped studying there, so I studied economic psychology. Is that a thing here in Australia as well?
By themselves, economics and psychology, but economic psychology I haven't heard
It's
of before.
like a combination of those two. So I just wanted to get out of my comfort zone, get to know myself better, explore the world basically.
Yeah,
I'm going
sure.
Mongolia in 3 months.
Oh wow, how
3 months,
exciting.
riding with a horse.
Are you going to
through
get a
the
horse
mountains.
out? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's outstanding.
I love adventures, like just seeing the world, and that's basically all it is for me. Finding love, someone you're really there for, like family and friends.
Yeah.
Have a close circle
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
good people around you.
Yeah, I think that for me is probably the essential part of living, is the relationships you have.
Yeah,
And being kind, caring, considerate
to the right people.
to the right people,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
You don't want to be walked over, but yeah, no. Ringo Django, you're the perfect...
Ringo Django.
Ringo!
Like Ringo Starr from the Beatles and Django from Django Unchained.
You weren't named by those for those reasons though, yeah?
Yeah.
You were?
So
Your parents named
my
you...
full name is actually Ringo Django.
I can't put that on the...
Oh, fair enough. I can show you Ringo Django Hilarious Constantine.
that is an outstanding name.
I know. thank
Did
you.
your parents really name you after the drummer of the Beatles?
Yes. So Ringo Starr from the Drummers, and then Django's actually, like, you know, Django Unchained movie.
Yeah, of course.
Tarantino.
Yeah, yeah.
It's based on a comic book from 1980.
Wow.
Which my dad really liked, and it goes well with the Ringo, like Ringo Django.
It
rhymes
does.
pretty good.
It works very well together.
And then Hilarious is like the god of the sun of the Romans, as I'm quarter Italian as well, like means sunshine.
Yeah.
And then Constantine, like the emperor.
Oh wow.
That's how it comes.
That's a lot to
It's
live up
very,
to.
Very uncommon though. People always ask me, "Are you taking the piss?" When I
Yeah,
tell
well, I
them my
wasn't
name?
sure either when you first told me. I thought, oh, come on, he's trying it on. Ringo Django, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
No worries.
That's a cool guy. I've been trying for about 20 minutes to find a place out of the wind to do a Q&A. Do you think I could find one? Into the alleys we go. Hopefully we're out of the wind. And so it is, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the Q&A of this video. Thanks to everyone who offered the questions up. Sorry if I didn't get to them all. I did pick a couple to talk about. The first one being from Nishi Pathak. Would you like to share some philosophies of your life? Oh, bringing out the big gun straight away. Look, I'm not sure how illuminating or insightful I can be about these big questions. How about if I give you a couple of the rules that I live by, or try to, for me at least. Firstly, I think ultimately we're all just kids, big kids, having to deal with aging bodies, and unfortunately society puts these expectations on us as we get older that not to play as much. And I think a lot of people fail to play. They don't carve out a small section of their life where they do the silly things or the joyful things or the fun things that they didn't give a second thought about to when they were younger. I just worry that so many people forget that life is meant to be fun, as far as I can see, and perhaps do themselves a bit of a disservice by stifling or pushing that inner child down. Personally, for me, I see the world as just one big playground. It's a theme park. Everything I do and everything I engage, I want to have fun with. I want to look at it in a positive light. I just want to embrace it and try and let it have its full positive potential, you know. I'm just a really big kid. And one thing I think is important is to offer people in your life, or people you come across, a caring, supportive, nurturing, considerate, kind part of you. Like be generous, let things be about other people. I think it's easy for us to be very self-focused because we have all these stresses and burdens, and I think we're hardwired ultimately to be suspicious and on the lookout because we were once on the Serengeti being chased by lions. So there's this sort of lizard brain part of us that makes us defensive and I don't know, kind of selfish, you know, looking out for ourselves. I think once we flip that and make a conscious effort to make things about other people, helping them, offering them kindness and, you know, caring and being positive towards them, it just seems to come back, and it's just a much more rewarding way to go through life, I think. Simone Whipart asked me, what gave you the desire to travel? Did you travel as a child? Are you seeking something or running away? I was a traveller from a very, very early age. I'll tell you a brief story. When I was 4 years of age, I remember there was this place not far, well, a fair way from home actually. It was a fish pond, and I wanted to go and see that again. And one day I just walked out of the house. Little did I realise it was 3 kilometres away. I found the fish pond. People didn't realise where I'd gone, and there was a search for me. You know, I have this deep need to travel. It's something that I've tried to stifle. It's something I've tried to push down. It's something I've tried to curb for a long, long time, and I realised that I just can't do it. There's something so ingrained in me that I have to travel, and I've been travelling all my life. At the age of 14 or 15, I think it was, I hitchhiked 2,000 kilometres up to Port Hedland from Bunbury to see my sister. Without even a thought. It was exciting for me. Everyone was stressed out, but I thought it was a great adventure. There's a theory, I've mentioned this before, there's this theory about how the world was populated, and it's called the coastal migration out of Africa, and the thinking behind that is there was groups of Africans who used the coastline as a vehicle in which to move throughout the world. They could fish from the oceans, they had protection from the caves that on the land. If I had been living in that time, I would have been one of those guys that first struck out, because I do always want to see what's around the corner. I am so hardwired to move and travel. I'm a gypsy. It's in me. I can't control it. I must move. Am I running away from anything? I've dug so deep into this and looked at my, you know, inner mechanisms and my psychology and what my sort of motivations are and what sort of hidden or sort of suppressed things I might have that causes me to move all the time, and there's nothing there. I'm just one of those people that loves to go out and keep moving, exploring and experiencing and being engaged in the world. There's nothing I'm running away from. I guess the only thing I'm seeking out of this as well is adventure, knowledge, experience. I'm not into material things. I want the experiences of life. I don't want the house and car. I want to go somewhere where it's different, where I'm stimulated, where things sort of affect me. I don't want to sit there and work on a plan on how I'm going to get my investment property. James SWSTO asks, what's the most valuable thing you've learned from your travels? Good question. The one thing I've come to realise, and there's probably going to be no great revelation to people, is that everyone's the same. It doesn't matter. We all in the world function from the same things. All right, we may have been affected by culture, religion, certain societal pressures or whatever, but when you strip that all away, when you get a person by themselves and you're talking at heart with them, we all have the same anxieties, we all have the same fears, we all have the same wishes, we all have, or similar wishes, we all are exactly the same. And it's this mask or this thing that's presented to everyone that confuses the subject, you know. I'm not saying there aren't people who aren't bad in the world, of course. Do I condone certain behaviours through religion or these types of things? No, I don't. But I just feel that those people that are behaving badly because of, I don't know, certain doctrines or beliefs, they're only doing it because that's the way that they were brought up, or that's the way that they were indoctrinated, or that's what was enforced upon them. You know, put everyone in an open park with no environmental effects, and we're exactly the same. That's the thing I've learned. We're just the same. Gia797 asked, how did you learn Indonesian? A lot of people ask me that. I learned a handful of words, maybe 20, 30, 50 maximum. I just sort of memorized the most common words, and then just went out and started talking to people, and you know, learning even the simplest form or most basic form of languages opens up so much for you, and people are really, really patient. They're really, really grateful, and you know, they respect the fact that you've tried to learn the language. So doors open. I couldn't suggest a better thing for a person who's going travelling to do is just maybe pick up one of the country's languages that they're going to. People ask me, why don't you learn the language in India? Why don't you learn the Nepalese language? Why don't you learn the Thai language? I'm not very good at languages, and it's taken me so long just to even get the smallest grasp of Indonesian that it's just too taxing for me. I spend way too much time and get so little out of it. So I just kind of enjoy the fact that I speak a skerrick of Indonesian, and that's it. But that's how I learned. I just, a handful of words, memorised them, went out and tried. A handful of the more common words, went out and just started trying to talk to people. My Michello asks, have you found yourself in trouble a long way from home? I have a couple of times. Once in 2015 I was in the Nepalese earthquake. That was a devastating earthquake where 10,000 people died, and it was quite devastating. I spent just over 2 weeks, I think it was, living in the Australian embassy because there's, you know, no running water, no electricity, no comms. That was pretty stressful. I've got a plate and 6 screws in my right arm after being violently attacked in Phnom Penh once. My fault. There were 2 ways to get back from the bar. One was a well-lit way and one was a dark, quiet alleyway, and I took the wrong option, and I was involved in a robbery. I don't think about those things much. If you're a traveller that considered what could happen all the time, you'd never go travelling. The reality is it's very, very rare that these things happen, and really, as long as you take the most basic, simple precautions in regard to your safety, it's unlikely that anything's going to happen to you. Josh can hear you ask, how can I make the jump to solo travel Asia? It's daunting. Yeah, man, it's really, really daunting that first time, isn't it? It's one of those things, the fear of the unknown. You're uncertain of what you're going to come up against, and, you know, you hear all sorts of stories. I think Southeast Asia is probably the most safe place to travel in the world, and Thailand and Bali are probably the softest landing points that you can make. It's very, very easy to travel in these countries. They have had tourism for a long time. They know how to do it. You don't have to think too much. You just need to do what you need to do. Once again, take the normal travel precautions for your own safety. You know, you don't stumble around at 3 o'clock in the morning rolling drunk. You know, don't go walking through forests in India by yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning, or on the beaches by yourself at 4 o'clock in the morning stumbling drunk. Thailand, Bali, do a bit of research on those, and you'll not only find that a very soft landing point or insertion point into further travels of Asia, you'll also meet a lot of people like yourself, because a lot of other younger people or first-time travellers, they identify these 2 places as low risk to themselves, they perceive as low risk to themselves. So there's a lot of people like you, and Thailand and Bali are so well known for you know, meeting people while you're travelling, and that's probably the best thing you can do, is hook up with other travellers and watch what they do, or share the learning experience together. Thailand and Bali, do them first. John Bonajava asks, how am I dealing with the fame? Look, I'm not sure there's any celebrity or fame involved in what I do. Yeah, I do get pulled over a lot now. If I'm in Perth city centre, if I'm in there for 2 hours, I'll have 3 or 4 different people stop me and have a chat. If I'm in Bali, it's elevated a little bit. Look, the reality is I really enjoy it, because let's face it, the people who are watching my channel are interested in travel. I'm interested in travel. So when I am stopped and people come up and want to have a chat, we've got an instant connection. We've got an instant topic to talk about, and we share the enthusiasm for Bali or India or just travel in general. The odd occasion, look, 99% of the people are really, really good and great, and it's so fun meeting them. There have been a couple of occasions where boundaries have been crossed. I've had people hanging out the front of my hotel for hours, and that was a little bit intimidating. I had one person who came up to me and said, you know, I've been following you for an hour, and that made me think, everyone knows who I am, but I don't know who they are, and that was a bit disconcerting. I did have one person who spent days, they knew where the area I was living in or staying in for that period, and they just spent 3 days walking up and down the streets until I appeared, and I did appear, and that was a bit disconcerting that someone would go to that much trouble just to say hello. Look, I understand people develop relationships with someone, I guess, that they're looking at on their device all the time, and they're coming along for the journey, and there's a connection. It resonates with people, and I have no qualms at all with being in the public eye or people wanting some of my time. Sometimes I do have to withdraw because it can be taxing, being something for everyone. That's I just don't have the energy. The reality is I'm a bit of an introvert, you know, and I kind of turn the switch on when it's time to be on, and the switch goes off. You can ask any one of my friends or family. I can lock myself in the room for days. How am I dealing with the fame? The definition fame doesn't sit very well with me. I don't think I'm at all famous, but with the interactions that I have, 99% of them are really joyous and really positive, and I'm glad I have them. And finally, to end the Q&A, Tim Wani wants to know, what's the meaning of life? Tim Wani, I think the meaning of life is the definition you give it. You find your own meaning, you know, hopefully you do find some meaning in it, and it doesn't matter what form that takes. I don't think there's any point in talking about existential things like life after death, because the truth is nobody actually knows. All we've got is the now. All we have to do is make ourselves happy, and whatever definition that takes for you, whatever form that takes for you, that's the meaning for you. I don't think there's one meaning of life for everybody. I think we define it by ourselves. What I might define life by having the freedom for me is a way in which I want to define life. I want true freedom. That's the meaning of life for me. For you, it may be something completely different. The meaning of life for you may be deep sea diving in the blue sea. It's your choice. Apologies if you're sick of the same background, but it's the only little pocket I could find out of the wind. That's the end of my first Q&A. A big thanks to so many of you that threw up the questions. I hope I got to you online and answered them, and I hope I got to a few of them that you wanted to hear in the video. If I missed anyone, I do apologise. I'll go back and have a look and make sure I get to all of you. Really appreciate that, thank you. I'm at the Murdoch bus and train station on the last leg, heading home. So does the prospect of not being able to travel through some debilitating event or condition scare me? It does a little bit. It does a little bit, because it's all I've ever known. It's how I identify myself, and it's such a positive and important aspect or component of my makeup. Do I think I'll get through it? Of course. I'm not going to be the first person that has to transition from one thing into another through old age or some injury or something. People do it, and I think I have the awareness from which to sort of prepare and be ready. I don't think I'll enjoy it. Like, you know, you take something that important away from people, and it affects you. You know, we're still big kids. We'll have a tantrum. You know, we won't like our toys being taken away from us. But you know, life is a journey, and if it were predictable and one straight path, then it'd probably be pretty boring. That's just about it for this one. As always, I hope you're all happy in life and doing the things you want to do. We'll see you soon.